Hello and welcome. This is a group presentation for the Intro to Information Science and Technology presented by Jacob Campbell and Nathan Bronikowski. Today we'll be comparing the ADIKs of Steam and PlayStation Network. So let's jump right into it. Description and history. Steam is a digital distribution platform developed by Valve Corporation, which offers digital rights management, multiplayer gaming, video streaming, and social networking services. Valve originally acquired a platform known as WON, or the World Opponent Network, in 2001, and it used it for connecting players in online games. Over time, Valve implemented the Steam beta into WON, and in 2004 they shut down WON and launched Steam, transferring all online game services there. As of August 3rd, 2017, Steam boasts over 67 million monthly users. PlayStation Network is a gaming entertainment service developed by Sony to support online audio chat, gaming, and streaming services. The services started as a free add-on for PlayStation users in 2006, which launched simultaneously with the PlayStation 3. The first online games offered through Sony were Final Fantasy XI and SOCOM in 2002 for the PlayStation 2. The first console gaming network was SegaNet, which was launched by Sega in 1996 for users with dial-up connections, and this, as you can imagine, was very slow. As of 2016, Sony now has 110 million users and charges roughly $60 a year for the service. Both systems are used for the digital stores that allow you to buy and download games and movies. They host audio chat and text-based chat, and both have friends lists. The biggest difference between them is the hardware the platforms run on. Now on to data and information processing components. In both systems, developers are allowed to upload games they wish to have sold on their respective platforms. From these games, Valve and Sony gather lots of information about the game, such as the file size, pricing that is set, the type of media it is, and the commands integrated with the software. Users also provide a variety of data on both systems. On Steam, for example, information from the users is sent via keyboard and mouse, compared to PlayStation Network where they utilize button presses on a controller. Another example would be on Steam, users have the option to provide a rating as a positive or negative experience along with a review. They can also input user-defined tags which act as descriptive metadata. For both systems, we also see the ability for users to input personal information in the forms of profile pages and billing information. Overall, the biggest difference here is the way that users input the data. For display and communication components, Steam displays and communicates information in various formats. Two of the main ones being the store pages, where users can see games that are currently on sale or games that are recommended to them, and the user library, where they can see the games they currently own and from there can select and play them or view additional information about them. The biggest area for improvement, in my opinion, would be the big picture mode they offer, a UI developed to simplify navigation when using a controller. It currently just seems to require too much effort to get where you're trying to go using it. The PlayStation Network displays information using well-placed and interactive pictures, words, titles, and user-friendly symbols that provide a convenient information environment for users. Information is most frequently communicated via the user's controller that will trigger actions either within PlayStation Network or in a game. The controller can also send the user feedback by vibrating or sometimes making noise while playing games. Human factor. In terms of user-friendliness, Steam is extremely easy to download and install. It is the first option found when using the search engine to search the word Steam, and it runs on a variety of operating systems including Windows, Mac, and Linux. You can play games across platforms too, which makes it extremely useful when playing with friends. Steam also offers a wide range of media, which spans across all ages. They have extremely graphic and violent video games, such as the newest Doom that was released, or kid-friendly games such as the LEGO series. One area that could improve Steam would be an indicator that allowed users to get a general idea of how well their computer ran a given game. In regards to the PlayStation Network, there are three key ways in which it's user-friendly. Ergonomic controllers allow the users to play for hours each week without discomfort. Simple inputs. Due to the flexible software capabilities with games and its own applications, PlayStation Network allows for maximum control with 14 buttons and 2 joysticks that have very similar uses across applications and games. Lastly, the simple home screen that is separated into two main sections, those being the internal applications, such as settings, friend list, chat and party, and more, while the external applications being the games, movies, and other applications. To make PlayStation more universally usable, a search tool for settings could be extremely useful. Without this, users will often find themselves traveling through many menus to realize they can't find what they're looking for. Both Steam and PlayStation Network have very user-friendly home pages. However, Steam's support link is located right at the top of its page and is almost the first thing you see, whereas PlayStation Network, it's almost hidden and hard to find. Next, we'll take a look at some of the information professions. Both Steam and PlayStation Network require a variety of information science and technology jobs to stay up and running properly. The career that seems to be the most heavily demanded by both at the moment is software engineers. Steam currently lists 3 open software engineer job areas in anti-cheat, games, and web development. Most have similar requirements, but if we look at this anti-cheat job posting, you can see that software engineers will generally always have to meet the minimum requirements of this post. Typically, these are a bachelor's degree in computer engineering, applied mathematics, or a similar area, and they usually require about 5 years experience in the area that this is, or the job specifically requires, or an overlapping field. Because Sony is so much larger, software engineer jobs are broken down more by level. They currently have jobs listed for management as well as interns in the same field. For software engineer managers, the general manager duties are training, mentoring, communicating, and collaborating between teams. Qualifications again require about 5 years in software development, prior open source technology experience, and preferably experience with another counselor or similar device. Again, we see it's required that there's a bachelor's degree in computer science, math, or a comparable field. Software engineering interns require minimal knowledge in the field and require the applicant to be pursuing a bachelor's degree in that computer science, math, or comparable field. Other information science and technology jobs available at Valve currently are database administrator and network/systems engineers, while Sony currently is offering positions for cloud architects and security engineers. There are multiple social issues that arise with both Steam and PlayStation Network. One of the more recent issues that has come to light on Steam is how users can now opt to hide the playtime of their games from anyone. This change was made back in April of 2018 and now can cause issues when you look at the review of a game. There is a possibility that someone is saying that a game is very bad while having no playtime, or conversely, having no playtime and raving that it's good to promote it. A good way to fix this would be to allow developers to require a minimum playtime when posting reviews. Perhaps one of PlayStation Network's biggest issues is that being a console-based system, kids are able to access video games more easily. The amount of time children spend playing video games versus playing with kids in person is alarming to some parents. This, however, can be easily solved by instituting parental controls to limit gameplay time. There are 2 additional issues shared by both systems. First are games that introduce gambling in the form of loot crates or other systems where you pay to unlock random features. Some people argue that this is used to take advantage of people with addictive tendencies for monetary gain. To help combat this, companies should be required to display the chances of getting certain items prior to purchase so that customers know exactly how likely they are going to get what they want. Shooter games are also a huge topic of discussion. With mass shootings on the rise across the country, many cautious citizens look at younger children playing video games as a potential risk. There are video game ratings, however, many people choose to ignore them, and parents or teens that buy games for these young children just circumvent the system altogether. We're looking at the facets of access by Matheson. We see that physical access for Steam is probably the weakest facet of access. According to Lee Rain and Vericone, only 73% of US households have a computer with a broadband internet connection. Those 27% who don't would be completely shut out from the possibility of having a computer with Steam on them. Social reachability is one of the better facets of access for Steam. Once connected, you have access to communities of every type for different types of media, games, or otherwise. Users can upload art, screenshots, and videos, and it allows you to easily connect with others through the platform. The worst facet of access for PlayStation Network is likely going to be the reachability. This is due to the high cost, the console. A controller, the console, the PlayStation Network subscription, and a game puts you up over $500, and this is excluding the internet cost. Many families can't afford this hefty price, and that limits the information access. The availability, however, for PlayStation Network is probably one of the best facets of access. This is because it's so widely available across the globe, and you can theoretically purchase and play games on PlayStation Network anywhere as long as you have a stable internet connection. So what do some scholars have to say about these systems? In regards to Steam, earlier we spoke about user-defined tags that are applied to games. According to Travis Windlehurst in his paper, Full Steam Ahead, A Conceptual Analysis of User-Supplied Tags on Steam, he says that an issue with these user-defined tags is that they are often ambiguous. Terms such as abstract could be applied to define the playstyle, the art style, or even the music of a particular game. A potential fix to this would be to add maybe subtags such as abstract art, abstract gameplay, or abstract music. Bias, Odick, and O also talk about how user reviews on Steam can often be very sarcastic and incorporate memes and wit, and sometimes reviews are reviewed as good or bad despite the text in the actual review contradicting the rating. Currently, you can only mark a comment as helpful, not helpful, or funny, and I don't think that these should be encouraging funny reviews because it detracts from the integrity of the reviewing system. I think that it should be implemented so that repeat offenders of bad reviews should be able to be reported and prevented from reviewing games in the future. Looking at PlayStation Network in a 2008 article from a medical journal, Pediatrica Indonesia, by Julian Perianto and Hepsara, it was found that children who play more than 2 hours of PlayStation a day are 22 times more likely to be obese than those who spend less than 2. We can see that obesity is already a huge problem in the United States, and technology that keeps children away from being active is partially to blame. However, with the rise of virtual reality in the home becoming more easily accessible, it could allow children to become more active, and it could help contribute to the reduction in obesity. Privacy in gaming. There's also a large amount of personal information that is input and shared in a video game platform, and they tend to share this data with third parties that they work with. Although information sharing can increase the efficiency of a user experience, that there are lines that need to be drawn. Users should be allowed to have the option to accept the sharing of this information to third parties through whatever platform that is, be it PlayStation Network or Steam. That about wraps everything up, and we want to thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask myself or Nathan, and we'd be happy to help. Here you see our references that we used when creating this PowerPoint and doing the research. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.